All right. Hello, everyone. This is Marvin McFaul again. Hope you're all having a great day today. We are really pleased to be here with Vickie, who is going to be talking with us about how to promote your event using social media and email marketing to help make sure it's a success. So without further ado, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on Vickie. And so I'm going to switch over here to a little presentation that we have, just to, like I said, give you a little background on Vickie and explain a little bit about why you should actually listen to her in the first place. So, by way of background, Vickie is the marketing manager, photographer, event marketer, webmaster. She pretty much does most of the promotional activities at ExhibitCraft, which is an exhibit company. They create trade show booths, expo booths. She also has a marketing company, Say Wow Marketing, which is pretty phenomenal at doing the social media marketing, among other things. She has a pretty strong social media presence, and she's initiated a ton of email marketing campaigns, which are all designed to convert that existing audience that she has into people at her events. She is very well versed in creating content. So if you go to the ExhibitCraft website, you'll see a ton of different things there, all sorts of images. She works with a really great team there, and she also helped with its the website's recent redesign. And if you go there, there's a lot of stuff there. It's a homegrown system that ExhibitCraft has created, but it really works in terms of solving the problems of showing the information that the people who are their customers are actually looking for. And so with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Vickie to actually open this up. I have a couple of questions that I've prepared for her, and we're going to talk a little bit about those right now. So Vickie, I know you guys have an event coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Can you maybe start off by telling me a little about what do you do when you actually have an event to promote?
Wow. Well, first, before we get to that, just thank you for that introduction, Marvin. Sometimes I forget all of the parts and pieces that go together, just like the parts and pieces of this broadcast today. So it's good that we got that set up, and I'm happy to be here. Okay, so when we have an event, I usually start about 6 weeks out. Okay, that's what I like to do. We meet with our team, we set up, and we figure out what it is that we want to have an event surrounding. There's usually some central theme or timeliness. This was a fall open house that we wanted to have. We had one in July. It was very successful. We were launching a product, and we wanted to continue on with that and keep the conversation going. This time, we were going to have a fall open house, and I wanted to include some more value in the seminars that we offer for the people that are coming to the event. People that come to your events really are coming for some kind of benefit. What's in it for me? And I always think of that when I'm ever marketing or creating marketing messages, because ultimately they could be elsewhere. They have, very limited time to spend. People that came today, I appreciate you being here. We both do. And it's just all about having you here as opposed to somewhere else. So for our event, really I'm putting an emphasis on the speakers this time, one of them being myself, the other our president and CEO, who is very well versed in trade show industry information. So he's going to be sharing information that's of value with our audience with how they can improve their trade show performance. For myself, because the audience also, a lot of them are maybe small business owners or larger sized businesses that have a limited budget and they want to know how to do social media and email marketing, not only for their events but also for their business. So we're highlighting those two events that are coming up. So I know what those events are what those seminars are going to be, whether it's your keynote speaker or yourself, and then I create a checklist. And so now I know what those values are. I create the event page, and that ultimately is your landing page, where you're going to convert those people that come to your website into being registrants and actual attendees. But you need to have some place that captures all of that information. And the tool that I use is Constant Contact. That's what I brought on board when I was here. I had some experience using them before. They've since grown, and the event marketing is something that they've been really pushing. And I just think it's great because it's integrated with your email marketing and social media also. So first thing I'll do is send out a save the date email, and to my list, not even to people who are registered, but to my email list, I'll send out a save the date, and then I'll do some PR. I'll do it locally, but also online PR. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there are a lot of websites that will build you links and get you some presence with online press releases. So you can repurpose the releases that you send to the local media for online. And I'll just spend a few hours, pushing them to the internet on these websites. And we actually had a client recently who it was over $100,000 a project. And the reason they found us was because we had an internet press release, out there. It really wasn't even relevant to what they were looking for, but it caught their interest. So, that's just something that you can also include in your marketing mix. I know that video has been tremendous for us, and that's one of the reasons that I brought you on board, Marvin, to help with us and give us a little bit different variety, in the event commercials that I produce here. Yes, I do the photography here. I also do some videos, and I'm very, very lucky to have the president of our company really coming out of his shell and infusing personality and his own creative flair on some videos that I will produce. So maybe he'll do a demonstration on a product, or he'll tell you why you've got to come to his trade show performance seminar and supercharge with him. So you don't really need to be a high-tech video crew. You just need to know how to use the tools that you've got to produce some interest and in the value that you're creating. So, with that, your website is tremendous for your events. I have my event page linked to a page on my website, yes, that I created with the web design team. We have an events page now, and on there is a link to the registration page that I created with Constant Contact. So it's really like it's a web, and there are a lot of pieces and parts to it. But if you use a consistent look with everything that you create, it's going to be a blast, and you're going to really be successful with doing your events. And every time, just write down lessons learned from each one, so you just keep getting better and better.
All right, so if I had to recap all of that, I would say whenever you have an event, you normally start about 6 weeks out, sometimes earlier if it's a larger event, I would imagine. And before you even start any of your social media marketing or any marketing whatsoever, you're figuring out who is my target audience, what is it they're actually coming for, what is the value that you're going to provide them. And then from that, you're then figuring out and promoting to that audience the value that you're going to provide them, which is, it's really just a good marketing rule in general, right? Always sell the benefits, sell what you can do for the actual potential attendee. Did I sum up?
Absolutely. I think you just encapsulated it, and I appreciate that. It's always about what's in it for me. Always think about your audience. Don't talk about the features and what you're trying to sell. Figure out what it is that they want, and then they will come to you.
Right, and that translates into the messages that you are actually sending across via social media and your email marketing campaigns. Correct?
Very correct.
Okay, awesome. So, I think you hit on a lot of pertinent lessons there and things that people should do in terms of the messaging. But you also have a pretty sizable presence on a number of social networks, Facebook, Twitter. You've got a good following on LinkedIn. You've got a ton of subscribers on YouTube as well. A question that I have for you, and one that I'm sure a lot of folks have, is which social network do you actually find to be the most effective in helping you find attendees in the first place?
And I think that's a great question. I think it's very specific to who your audience is. Depends on the type of company that you are. If you're a B2B, if you're a B2B, you might be better served creating your messages for LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. That's a great social media platform for professionals. For myself, before I came here, I had done some restaurant marketing. The best platform for that was totally Facebook. It was a great opportunity for me to share the pictures that I was taking when I was learning about photography. And that's just a great platform for the conversation about food. Because one thing that we have in common is we all eat. The thing that our audience has here at Exhibit Craft, which is more a B2B, is that we, all are interested in the trade show industry, but under that, we're all marketers. We're looking at how to advertise and get our audience in front of people and drive that traffic to our booth. So it's a little different, B2B as opposed to B2C. So it really depends on your audience and where they're already having the conversation. Twitter is a big part of our strategy as well, and I was very lucky when I came on board. There were almost 100,000 followers. Okay, my boss, our president, Scott Wallowed, obsessed. He was obsessed with building as big a base as he could, and ultimately it did help. But I think part of that strategy also needs to be listening. You need to be listening to what people are saying about your industry, and you have to be on top of your hashtags for your industry. So see what your competitors are saying, create a list, okay, which you can follow. And I don't really use Twitter all that much to broadcast stuff, and especially to listen. I'm a big proponent of Hootsuite. That's one of my social media dashboards that I really can't live without. I'll just kind of peek in, listen to conversations about what's going on, with competitors, but ultimately, what are the hot topics with the industry, with people that are interested in what you do? Maybe industry publications, maybe you want to take a look at technology. I always take a look at social media because that's a big part of the conversation that I can have with you. It's an area of expertise that I came on board with. And I'll tell you the story, Marvin.
Sure.
I actually came on board here because my boss, he connected with me. And I'm not sure if we connected on LinkedIn or if it was on Facebook, but we both live in Wayne, New Jersey. And he was looking to bring on somebody to help him with the social media because he was a true believer in its power, and we connected, but I was always onto another project. I was always, just kind of hopping to find that right opportunity. And he, was looking for somebody not really to bring them on board, but to help him with stuff. So when the opportunity came, social media was where it happened for us. We connected locally, never knew each other, wouldn't have passed by each other, but I think that if you realize that your audience is also using social media, it's just a matter of where they're using the social media, that's what will tell you what is the most effective platform for you.
Right, so if I had to recap that in terms of which network you thought was the most effective, your real answer is wherever your people are at, whoever your audience is, you go to that particular network. And so, and I think you said for you that for a B2B type audience, marketing to other business professionals, that LinkedIn worked really well for you guys. And I think you said more on a consumer and a B2C type environment, Facebook, and to a lesser extent Twitter, because you guys have a ton of followers there that Scott built up, that's an effective medium on the consumer end as well. And that kind of brings me to my third question, just kind of talking about online video and or online video using Twitter and how all these things are interconnected. And I saw on your YouTube account that you guys had some videos that had over 40,000 views. That's a good number of views, especially for something that's specifically within a very sort of niche industry. How do you actually use online video to get more attendees at your event? We talk a little bit about this, but maybe you could talk about it in some more detail.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you that a lot of the videos that I do create are self-produced. We do them in-house. Sometimes I will shoot a video of, the crew behind the scenes here to show people what's going on. I will relate this to the event marketing because I think that's most specific for your audience here today. For events, what I like to do is create a video of one of our speakers or a demonstration of some product that we're launching, show them the value and the reason that they need to come to your event. And a big personality here is obviously our boss, Scott, and he has really infused his creative flair and his personality. So hey, I'm very lucky. I have nothing to complain about, you know. But this time for this particular event, because I'm going to be speaking, I'm also going to be creating a video. Yeah, probably have a tripod and a shutter release, you know, remotely. But we'll create a video of the people, the speakers, some appearance that you have of somebody. And if you don't have the ability to produce a video, even with an iPhone or whatever you may have, you can always use photos and stitch them together with some text in. I know you do a great job, Marvin, with producing videos, and you create like a nice, attractive vignette around it. And you know, you can just create parts and pieces into a video. You don't have to, you know, have a professional. And sometimes when the audience sees that, they really value it because they know that it's honest. You may not have a huge budget, but you really want to have some valuable event that you want them to come to. I will make a note, okay? Creating a video is not the be-all, end-all.
Right.
It's where you're driving people to register for your event, to convert and sign up and become attendees. So there's some action that you want people to take. Your landing page that you create, whether it's self-produced, it's on your website. Mm-hmm. I use Constant Contact to create my event page. They do a really nice job, and you know, if you ever have a technical problem, you can always give them a call, and they'll help you create the page. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, and they know that you're not going to be. So you have to create a landing page that's very consistent. So your parts and pieces all have to look similar, so that people don't have to think, what is this event? Is this from Exhibit Craft? What is this? Who is that? You know, you have to create something consistent in your theme. And one of the things that I do is keep track of that hex code, the RGB color. I'm getting a little high tech here, I'm sorry. Hang with me. Okay. You have to know what your event colors schemes are and put it in your direct mail pieces, your ads in your paper, your flyers. I create it with my landing page, and any web buttons that I create for registering, they're all going to look consistent. So there's no question, even subconsciously in somebody's mind, what that action is to be for. So you really want to drive the traffic to your event landing page and really work to make sure that it's consistent with all of your other advertising materials. Your video will drive them there, I guarantee.
So just to recap again, you're basically saying that with your videos and your promotional materials in general, you want to keep a consistent theme between the websites and any other promotional materials you may have, whether it's physical pieces, whether it's the registration actual page, whether it's the registration button, whether it's the landing page on your website. You really want to keep a consistency with the theme among all your different elements, and that way it makes it easier for the person that you're trying to get to register to recognize, okay, yeah, this is the same thing. I'm in the right place. Am I understanding you correctly?
Absolutely. You know, you work hard to create your content. You want to make sure that it's going to encourage people to take the action that you want, and that's going to be for registering.
Cool. So that leads us to our next question, which is really about Twitter, right? And we've touched on it right now, and like I said, you guys have almost 100,000 followers on Twitter. What do you actually do to maintain and even grow that fan base? What are you doing on Twitter? Okay.
Well, on Twitter, again, we spoke about me being fortunate that there was a huge Twitter base already there of followers. But more than that, I think it's important to listen. I think social media needs to be thought of as just that. It's media for you to be social with and have a conversation. It's not just about blasting and sending out email blasts and tweets and, auto posting. That's all important, but it has its place. And I think that when you start to listen and do a search for certain hashtags, I'll tell you my secret, okay, with Hootsuite. I have columns set up where I listen to certain things that you can set up Hootsuite to create your dashboard with. And Hootsuite is totally free. Like Hootsuite can be used for a small business that really doesn't know much about social media, and you can just take a little time, set up your streams, and it will do the rest for you. You can some streams for your different social media outlets. Again, with a paid account, you're going to have more that you can feature on there. But I use 4 primarily on there. I have Google+, Twitter, Facebook, and the Facebook fan page on there. So sometimes I'll listen to the conversation all from one place. And for Twitter, I do use that. So I'll have a stream for certain lists that I create, or maybe they're a list that I want to follow. So it's a group of people rather than just one particular hashtag, like one conversation surrounding a hashtag, like EVC,
EVCN events or EVCN TVX.
Okay, sounds good. All right, gotcha. So, yeah, so I think it's important to listen, and then you jump on the conversation. Like, for instance, for every trade show, there is a hashtag associated with it. And the event organizers create that hashtag before the event. You create a stream, listen to the conversation about that. You'll hear about the attendees going to the event. You'll hear about the exhibitors at the particular event. You'll even hear conversations go on after the event. And that's really nice because, say we have a client that's exhibiting at a particular event. We don't have staff to send to the event, and we certainly can't expect the installation and dismantle crew to be snapping pictures with whatever phone they have. You can never count on that, and it really makes it really speaks to who you are if you do it right. So if you know that there's an event hashtag going on, follow that conversation, and this way you can jump in. Maybe you can connect with people who are at the event. You can speak about event speakers. I also look to see if there's someone at a particular booth or someone that's really excited about an event taking pictures. And that's a good place to be, because now I've got eyes and ears at that event looking for me. We had a client, it was at a craft show, okay? Huge booth, and it was just such a shame that, we couldn't be there to, get photos of it, but I was able to catch one of the crafters that was at this event taking crazy pictures, doing online marketing, had a blog, was using affiliate marketing. I mean, it was crazy. So she was producing this content, so I was able to hear it. That's because I was listening. It wasn't because I was blasting my own stuff, about my client at the event, but I also took a break to listen to what's going on at the event. The people who don't know who we are.
Right. So essentially what you're saying is, listen, right? Do some social media monitoring to listen to what your prospects and potential customers are potential attendees are actually talking about. Listen to the issues and things that they are excited about and or have problems with, and when appropriate, enter yourself into that conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And so, we've talked a lot about social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and to a lesser extent LinkedIn. Let's talk a little bit about email marketing, because email marketing is really a direct line that you have with your potential attendees. And you were talking a little bit earlier about sending out information to your list. Can you talk a little bit about how you combine your email marketing with your social media efforts in order to actually get attendees, in order to actually get people to register for your...
Of course. So the event marketing that I use with Constant Contact is only a piece of the puzzle. We have this email newsletter that is opt-in only, and with that newsletter, I want to create value so that I know that people understand we create this value and we want to share it with you. We have sales material in it. We have some boxes in there that we may have a promotion of the month, whatever it may be. It's not a real hard. I'm not a true believer in that, and I understand that you need to have those hard sells at times because you are a business. But I believe that the success we've had in it with the more soft sell and just creating that value in the email so that you can have a conversation and someone may call and say, hey, I saw this in the newsletter. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? They're not as inhibited as if it was more of a salesy thing. which they may be incentivized, and
That's a word.
it is now. They may call just to, take advantage of a discount or something. There are a lot of emails like that. For us, and again, I know that this is particularly for event marketing, with the emails that I do create that are not event related, they have had a huge ton of value for the company, and they create brand awareness. Marketing is more of an over the long haul kind of activity. It's not short bursts of sales and kind of, here and now. It's over the long haul. It's building that brand awareness. Social media is a big part of that, but email marketing is too. And when you get an email from an opt-in, that is gold, because someone is giving you permission to send them material. They want to know what's going on with your company. Mm-hmm. So I think that email marketing has been big to really create a monthly newsletter. I have a blog that I manage with the company. Now it's on our website. Before, when I started in September of 2011, there was no blog. So I knew that I was going to do something with this blog, so I just started churning content and creating it, repurposing some of the posts, making slide decks just as you do out of some of your material. So we had this bunch of content that I had created, so when the new website was redesigned, I was able to have it exported and just pulled over, so we didn't have to start from scratch. So now I had, we launched in April, so we had about a year and a half of content that was already there, and those pieces go into your newsletter. Not everybody's going to subscribe to your blog, not everybody's on social media, but the people that have given you permission in your email list want to know what's going on, and they want to hear that value. So create a newsletter and create links to those blog posts, and that is ultimately what our email newsletter is. And you can use it for your event marketing too. Create that value up front, and then they're going to want to run to you when you have your event.
Right. I think the key thing that you said in all of that is that you are really focusing on building a relationship with your audience, with your potential attendees, with your potential customers. And you're really focusing on doing that not only by listening to them on social media, but with your email marketing campaigns, communicating with them, stuff that they will find interesting, stuff that they will find pertinent, and it sounds like you're using constant contact, but also leveraging the content that you already have on your blog, which is another form of social media that we haven't even really talked too much about, to actually provide the content for the email marketing, right? And I imagine that with your blog content, you're obviously writing those materials to be helpful and educational for your potential audience, and that goes even outside the bounds of the typical event itself, so that you really are building and fostering that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, if you create that value, people are going to open up the emails, so that when you do have an event invitation, they're more likely to open up that email because they know that there's some value that you've always been sharing with them.
Great, fantastic. Well, once again, thank you so much for chatting with us today. I think there's a lot of useful information that was communicated. If anyone has any questions later on, please feel free to message Vickie. She's on Twitter at Vickie Sic, VICKIESIC. And thank you to everyone who has attended. We really appreciate you coming today, and we look forward to future conversations with you. And this webcast, this Hangout, will actually be saved and re-uploaded to this page. So if you would like to share it with others, please feel free to do so. And I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.
Awesome. Bye.